Alright, so you ready to start? We start where all good podcasts start. Follow up.
Follow up.
Alright, so I have other musical influences.
Okay.
Because as soon as the podcast was over, I was thinking I was listening to my iPod, driving around and stuff, and I was like, man, this definitely would influence me, and this too, and this, and this.
And this.
And this.
And
So I literally wrote down a list of all the things I could remember. So I have Violent Femmes, which I know you're a fan of. I love their acoustic punk.
Yeah.
Which is the coolest thing, I don't know, to me. Because I've always wanted to write a ukulele punk song. I don't know if it's feasible, but I want to try.
Now's the time.
Yeah, it's perfect. Maybe that'll be my goal.
Maybe.
Ukulele punk song.
A ukulele punk album.
Oh, that's a lot. Alright, I also have Airborne Toxic Event because I sometimes I can get a little tired of them musically, but lyrically I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
I can't think Mikkel something is the name of the singer and the songwriter. But he was a writer and I think maybe a professional runner or maybe just a really extreme hobbyist runner.
That's interesting.
Yeah, no, he's interesting life, but all this terrible stuff happened to him at once. His mom got cancer, and I think she died. I'm not sure, but she got cancer,
yeah.
And he was dumped, and he got what's that? There's that autoimmune disease where your immune system attacks itself and causes hair to fall out and weird skin. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Eczema?
No, it's called
I don't know.
There's
AIDS.
I gotta look it up now.
Yeah. Part of the follow-up. ALS.
It's
naming.
really minor. It doesn't
I'm just alopecia.
Yeah, that's it.
Is
it's
it?
alopecia. Yeah.
Boom. I'm just naming weird diseases.
Not
Not that ALS is weird. It's a little weird.
Okay. So Airborne Toxic Event is on there. Hello Goodbye, because do you remember Hello Goodbye? They had one popular song.
Yeah.
But I actually have listened to their other stuff.
I actually liked their popular song.
Yeah, I like their popular song too.
Yeah.
But they have a lot.
I don't even remember what it was. But I remember
it was it was I like where you are when we drive because you are the one. That song.
Yeah.
I like that song a lot. It's super cheesy and great. But they're I feel like they're what garage band pop punk should be.
Yeah.
Instead of just whiny and annoying. I feel like they have a little bit of that sometimes because I feel like every good band has sad songs.
Yeah.
But they also are very upbeat and fun.
Yeah.
And I like their band a lot. I even like their most recent album was all on Target, but they're not really popular. I feel like they have a decent following.
Yeah,
but
I think pop punk has also kind of fallen off.
Yeah, that's true. But they've only had that one hit.
Yeah. This isn't the early 2000s anymore.
Yeah. So I have Noah and the Whale, which are they're a indie folk band.
Yeah.
But their album Peaceful The World Lays Me Down is definitely one of my top 10 albums.
Nice.
It's up there. I think I love pretty much every song. I wasn't a fan of their work after that. There's a few songs I like, but that album was amazing. I've got Macklemore.
Yeah, Macklemore's fine.
He's good. He's awesome. I can't wait for another album from him because he just came out with the single Downtown, which is great.
And it gets no radio play for some reason.
Yeah, I heard it in a bar the other day, which was cool.
Really, I've actually texted radio stations and been why no love for Macklemore?
Yeah.
Usually 104.5 responds to me, my girl Jessie, but she didn't get back to me this time. She's probably as confused as I am.
21 Pilots is on here because I really I'm a big fan of poetry, being that I was an English major and all.
Really?
Yeah, surprisingly. And I actually wasn't a huge fan of 21 Pilots when they first came out because his voice got on my nerves.
Yeah, he's really grating.
Yeah, but once I got past that,
I got past how the music sounded.
I like the way the music sounded, but I also really like the lyrics because I think that he said he was a failed poet.
Yeah, he was a slam poet or
something. And then he put it to music instead or something like that. I don't know if he was necessarily a fan. Oh, okay, so I actually put a poet on here, Allen Ginsberg, who is my favorite poet, but also the most problematic of faves because he was a member of NAMBLA.
Good old NAMBLA.
North American Man-Boy Love Association.
Yeah, we do not support NAMBLA.
No, we
here.
don't.
We will not link you to their website.
Absolutely not. We will. I will link you to the North American Marlon Brando Lookalike Association. I mean, that,
also known as NAMBLA 2.
But he did some great poetry. It's terrible that he was a pedophile, but
all the best poets were.
Oh my God, I hope that's not true. But I really, really like his poetry lyrically, both in the lyrical sense of like the timing and stuff like that. But he took a lot of influence from, oh gosh, I can't think of his name. He wrote Songs of Innocence and Experience.
Robert Frost.
No.
I just always throw Robert Frost as the first poet, and it's usually right.
Robert Frost is a good poet.
No, he's cool.
Let me look this up real quick because it's going to bother me. Songs of Innocence. Yeah, here they are. It's
William Blake.
William Blake, yep.
I said it first.
Who Dr. Newman, my one professor, would kill me for not thinking of William Blake because he's like a Blake.
Hopefully your professor doesn't listen to our podcast.
But Allen Ginsberg did a cover of one of William Blake's songs of Innocence.
Interesting.
I think the Nurse's song. But because Allen Ginsberg was around the time during Bob Dylan and stuff, he does it very folky.
Yeah.
And it's I really like it. It's awesome.
Dylan, not a member of NAMBLA.
But he did a song with Allen Ginsberg.
Well, maybe he was then. Don't know.
They were huge fans. There's a picture of, I think Bob Dylan and Allen Ginsberg sitting on somebody's grave.
Okay, that could have got a lot weirder. So
they were sitting on oh man, who's the one who wrote? Oh, Jack Kerouac. They're sitting at Jack Kerouac's grave, reading or singing or something. There's it's a pretty famous picture, because they were all friends.
Yeah.
Jack Kerouac was a mentor to Allen Ginsberg.
Yeah.
I have Bob Dylan on here because they did stuff together. And I like his lyrics a lot too, although he is a terrible singer.
Yeah. Pretty lousy.
Johnny Cash is on here because Johnny Cash is amazing.
It's always a safe choice.
Yeah. Boy Named Sue, best song ever.
Probably.
The Kinks are on here because that is terrible for a podcast recording.
I'm sorry, I'm hungry.
I hope that's in here.
I am sorry, I'm hungry.
I'll try to leave it in. If
it's not, you can just pick up mine and pretend it's Sam.
I have the Kinks because they pretty much invented punk rock.
Um,
I think they're precursors to punk, honestly. Have you heard Father Christmas and?
I know the Kinks.
Victoria?
I know the Kinks well. I'd say.
You can't tell me the Ramones weren't man, I love the Kinks. Let's do this, but do it more intense.
The Ramones were actually heavily influenced by the Beach Boys and Elvis.
Really?
Which are their biggest influences. Yeah. The Clash, on the other hand, I'll give you the Clash.
The Clash. I feel like they're the precursors. I don't think the Kinks are punk.
Okay. That's what I thought you were.
I guess I did say that, but I think without them, I'm not sure. Punk
I'd say them and the Who were probably the two.
Yeah, that's fair. The Who too.
Especially early Who, really pushed.
And
that
they're from the same era too.
Yeah. Just a fun aside, the frontman for the Kinks a few years ago, he's 800 years old or something.
Yeah.
Beat the crap out of a mugger who stole his girlfriend's purse in New Orleans.
Oh my god.
Chased the guy down and just beat him senseless. And the dude from the Kinks is 80 or something.
That's pretty punk rock.
Yeah, so I guess he deserves some props.
I have the Doors because even though he was nuts.
Don't let me die like Jim Morrison.
Yeah, Jim Morrison is a great lyricist, and he actually did poetry as well. Can you tell there are a lot of poets on my...
Nope.
I have Fall Out Boy on here, which I didn't really hate, but I, 8th grade, From Under the Cork Tree. Like when it came out, I was all about that.
Okay.
I love Fall Out Boy.
That's all I
think
can
they're
say
really
about
good,
that.
especially that album in particular. I don't really listen to their new stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like their new stuff is like meh.
Their new stuff is a lot different.
Yeah.
Like they've tried to change with the times, and I don't know how successful they've been.
Yeah. I mean, they're still popular.
Yeah.
So I guess they're commercially successful, but I don't think I consider them successful.
Yeah.
I think after like, once they got to like Fa Adu, which is like their 4th album or something, I was like, eh.
Yeah.
There's a few good songs on
What
here.
was it called?
I think it's like Filet Adu. I don't know, some weird French
Oh,
word.
I don't know. I'm not like,
Falex Adux.
I'm not making fun of you for not being able to say it. I just don't know.
I'm gonna look it up so we can mispronounce it.
So
on
then I
purpose.
can make fun of you for not being able to say it.
Oh yeah, Filet Adu.
All right. Full of ducks.
Full of ducks.
Perfect. This is America.
Also, have you ever heard their Christmas song, "You'll Shoot Your Eye Out"? But it's
No.
spelled Yule.
I did not. But
It's
that's
pretty good.
clever.
And then I have Panic at the Disco on here, who are like,
They're the same exact band.
I think Panic at the Disco is better.
I think they're the same exact band, and they just put on costumes to be a different band.
They're in like the same music video together at one point.
Are they really?
Yeah, for one of Fall Out Boy's older songs. What was it? Oh, A Little Less 16 Candles, A Little More Touch Me.
Nice.
So it's like, I don't blame you for being you.
Yeah.
They're like, Panic at the Disco is like vampires in it, and there are vampire fighters. I don't understand the plot of the.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with the song, because the song's about like love and like
Yeah.
breakup and stuff like
Well,
that.
so vampires.
Is Fall Out Boy the one that sings that super rapey song about like stalking people?
No, that's Death Cab for Cutie.
That's kind of cute.
Who I should put on this list.
Is also very good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're all the
Death,
same to me.
Death Cab is very different than Fall Out
Yeah,
Boy.
they're very different. I can understand though that someone who would listen to Fall Out Boy would also listen to Death Cab for
Yeah.
Cutie. Like the type of person.
But
like,
the type of
generally
person
thought of.
who listens to Death Cab for Cutie might not listen to Fall Out Boy.
I can see that too.
Yeah.
I have.
Also,
but also,
they lost to Black Eyed Peas for Best Song. They lost to My Humps
what was the
at
song?
the Grammys. Follow You Into the Dark.
Really? That
Lost
lost?
to My Humps.
Oh my god.
Yep. More
That song
fun
is
trivia for you.
amazing.
Yeah. No, My Humps is pretty
I
good.
do know all the words to My Humps.
Do you really?
Yeah, all of the
Well,
words.
you have to do a cover on your album.
Okay,
Okay.
I can do that. If I don't do like it on my album, I'll do like a cover album.
Okay.
I'll make
Or
sure
maybe
My
like
Humps
as like
is
a
on there.
reward at the end of all this.
Oh yeah, I could do a cover
Yeah.
of My Humps.
Got a loyal
Well, the
listeners.
thing about Panic at the Disco, I don't think they're such a I feel like they do have a departure from. I feel like they're more dancey than Fall Out Boy, and also
I
their
don't know.
second album is like the Beatles. They're like,
Really?
you know what? We love the Beatles. Let's just pretend we're the Beatles for an album. And I feel like Fall Out Boy does nothing like that.
Okay, well that's cool. I don't know enough of their music to actually say.
Yeah.
I just feel like as far as all their like hit songs and stuff, I can never tell which one is which half the time.
My mom always got them confused. To
Yeah.
be fair.
I got into a big argument with somebody not that long ago when I was like, yeah, they're pretty similar bands, and they like lost their shit for comparing Panic at the Disco to the lowly Fall Out Boy. Just to say, Fall Out Boy has a better name than Panic at the Disco.
It does. Someone
Even if-
like told me the story that Fall Out Boy. Oh, here we go with the rap.
Sorry.
Fall Out Boy got their name, like someone, like they didn't have a name at their first show, and they asked people to yell out through random words, and someone was like, Fall Out Boy. I was like, no, it's from The
Yeah,
Simpsons.
That's a character from The
Yeah,
Simpsons.
and they're like, no, it's like, this is the story, it's true. I was like, hold up, let me look this up. And I was like, oh look, it says they named themselves after the character from The Simpsons,
Whoa, mind blown.
from Radioactive Man and Fall Out Boy. And they're like, oh, I guess it wasn't true then. Which it wasn't. Alright, so we can move on. That's all I went through my list of
Stuff.
musical influences.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Next
yeah,
one.
follow up. Star Wars.
Star Wars.
So, Star Wars, I feel like, is the reason I almost didn't get my goal done.
That's pretty fair, because it's pretty much all I've thought about since I've seen it.
Yeah.
So,
Every time I tried to write a song, all I could think was Star Wars lyrics. I was this close to writing, like, a Star Wars song.
I
And
wish you had.
I kind of think I probably will.
Maybe just do a whole Star Wars album. Change the project completely.
Yeah. You just want me to change. You have like a different album idea for me
not even
It's like,
every podcast, every bullet point.
Yeah, it's like ukulele punk, cover album,
Star Wars
album.
We're gonna get at least 4 more ideas tonight.
Yeah. I don't want to give anybody spoilers, so I guess we can't really talk about Star Wars.
The one thing that really threw me off was how Rey was Chewbacca's daughter, and she just shaves a lot, and she never thought that was weird. That kid was gonna kill you when you said that.
Yeah, we came out of the theater, and I yelled that as a fake spoiler, and this kid gave me the biggest stink eye. And I still am, like, wondering if he thought it was an actual spoiler, or he was just like, oh, you being a troll, stink eye.
No, he was like 7, so
Yeah.
he probably thought it was real.
Yeah.
7-year-olds are dumb. Although, speaking of which, I've been watching through Star Wars with Joey.
Yeah.
Joey, for those who don't know, but most of you probably know, is my 7-year-old brother. Because we told him we'd take him to see the new one if he watches all the other ones, because he hasn't seen them all before. And so we're watching the first one, and he's like, Anakin as a little kid comes on the screen. He's like, that's Anakin? And I'm like, yeah, because he's seen, the Clone Wars cartoon and, other stuff. And they're sitting there, and he's like, wait, Anakin Skywalker, Luke Skywalker. And he's sitting there thinking, and then he's like, Darth Vader is Luke Skywalker's father, right? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, that must mean Anakin Skywalker's Luke Skywalker's brother. And I was like, maybe. So we have to watch episode 3, I don't know, probably tomorrow. So he already has the, Luke, I'm your father thing spoiled. He knows about that. But he doesn't realize Anakin and Vader are the same person. So I'm really excited to see what his reaction is when he realizes that. And if he's going to, freak out and lose his mind, or if he's just going to be like, oh, okay. So, we'll see. I'm excited for it.
We'll have to put that in follow-up of the next show.
Yeah, I'll have to let you know.
Yeah. Alright,
But yeah, it was fantastic. If you haven't seen it at least 3 times, you need to go see it again.
which I have seen it 3 times.
We've only seen it twice so far. But we have to take Joey, so that'll be 3.
There you go, that'll be 3.
And I'm not saying you can't see it more than 3 times, because that's okay too.
Yeah. Go see it now. If you're stop listening to the podcast, pause it.
Pause.
Go see it, and then come back and start listening again.
Yeah. Let's here come all the spoilers.
Well, let's just.
Never mind.
Yeah. We have a lot of follow up to get through, and
yeah.
How deep are we into the podcast so far?
2 hours.
We're actually 19 minutes in already.
Wow.
All right. How hard it was to pick a name. And
hard.
I mean that for the podcast. This is pretty much my fault because I had such issues with the name. I don't know. I'm just weird about names, I guess.
Yeah.
I want them to be really good.
I'm really bad at names, so Josh would just be like, how about this name? I'd be like, I'm not crazy about that. He'd be like, how about this one? I'm like, oh, I love that. That's really good. And then the next day, he'd be like, how about this name? I'm like, I thought we already settled on this, but okay. And that happened about 8 or 9 more times, and...
Should I list some of the names
Yeah.
I came up with? So, I have various different versions of the word ambition. So, ambition, ambitions, ambitious.
Ambitionson.
Ambitionson.
It's a good last name.
And then I had humans making stuff, humans doing stuff, then just making stuff, as and then getting stuff done, and then I had getting shit done ? Because I was like, it'd be an expletive, but I could just put the asterisks, and I feel like, I don't know, it'd be raunchy. People would, and then or getting it done.
Clickbait.
It done. Yeah, clickbait. And I was like, and then I realized that getting stuff done is a major self-help book thing that we could very easily get sued for. And I guess I'd subconsciously thought oh, that sounds good because I'd heard it before.
Yeah.
Then I had productivity pushers, which made us sound like druggies.
Which I like that one because I wanted to sell everyone drugs.
And pushing productivity, or pushing production, Productivity People, Productivity Podcast. I had Motivate Us, or Motivate Me was also an alternative. Artists in Training, Creators, Makers, and eventually I settled on Adults. I also have Dreamers, and I think I crossed that one out immediately. I was like, that's lame. Dreamers in Training.
We're training people to have hopes and desires.
Alright. Yeah, so, okay. The next thing I'm going to give a little content warning about before I talk about it. Because I don't like the word trigger warning, because... Well, I think it's fair that, like, people really do have PTSD and stuff, and, like, it triggers it. But
Nobody has PTSD.
I think trigger is a very loaded word.
Yeah, well, it's become kind of a buzzword, too.
So I'm figuring the use... Because the content warning, it says, like, we're not going to stop talking about this, but we're going to let you know it's here.
Yeah.
And I like that. Because that's, like, what the real idea of... Like, because the whole thing of it in universities and stuff that everyone's getting up in arms about, the idea isn't that we should put trigger warnings or content warnings so that kids can ignore it. It's so like, hey, we're talking about this, prepare yourself.
Right.
Which is like, and I think a lot of people take it the wrong way.
Just try to skip past it or whatever. So,
content warning, gore and grossness, I don't know.
Graphic cannibalism.
So, Guts by Chuck
Palahniuk.
Oh, that's surprisingly easy to say.
I'm pretty sure that's how you say it. I might be saying it completely wrong, and he'll probably write me a strongly worded letter about it.
Maybe it's
I actually think it's on his website how to say it.
Really?
Yeah.
I've probably looked it up and forgot, because...
Oops, that's not how you spell Chuck.
Kajuk.
Chuck. Nope.
Nope.
Too many C's.
You'll get there. Now you get the last name.
Comes up. Sweet.
Thank you, predictive search.
This .net looks like it's his. Yeah. Palahniuk.
Oh.
I'm super surprised.
Well, we are both stupid. So I can avoid the strongly worded letter. Chuck Palahniuk.
Yeah.
He's the writer of Fight Club, Choke, and several other things that didn't get made into movies. But yeah, Guts. Which is actually from a book that he wrote called Haunted, which is literally the most disturbing, twisted, hard to get through book I've ever read. Not that it's poorly written, it's just the content in the book is so difficult. It was very tough to read, and I highly recommend it if you're a sadist. Masochist, not sadist. They're the opposite.
For someone else to read it. You're recommending it because you are a sadist.
Right.
So you want everyone else to go through it. Or maybe you're a sadomasochist because you read it yourself, too.
True. Except, yeah. No,
or you just read it yourself to know how bad it was, so you could use it
so
as
I know what I'm inflicting on other people.
Alright. So at least you're a thoughtful sadomasochist.
But I think we mentioned him last time in the podcast as a writer influence kind of thing when we were talking about writers, but he nobody has ever written anything that made me nearly that uncomfortable like that I've ever read, and like set a scene so awfully.
I don't know if I should we say what happens in it?
I'd rather not. I'd rather link it and let everyone else read it for themselves.
Okay, that's cool. I'll put it in the show notes.
But yeah, it's called Guts. It is one of the most intense short stories I think that you can probably find by a mainstream major writer.
So we'll put so next is Garibald, King of the Lombards.
God.
So last week we briefly mentioned Garibald as a joke name instead of our friend's name, which I'm not going to say because I don't want to incriminate anyone. His real name. But then you were saying you think it was a real name from like a book or something.
Yeah.
And I looked it up, and this is a real person. Garibald. He's like at the shortest Wikipedia page.
It's literally 3 sentences.
Was the young son of Grimwald the First of Benevento, King of the Lombards.
Of course.
And Theodota, daughter of Erpert.
Erpert?
I don't know. And after his father's death in 671, he reigned briefly for 3 months until the numerous adherents of Perctarit, his uncle, who had been exiled by Grimwald 9 years earlier, beseeched their candidate to return and elected him, disposing the young kid.
Wow.
Young king. Yep. So
Or
that's who
Garibald.
Yeah, Garibald. Garibald.
I don't know who
King
the
of
Lombards are, but...
Well, I'm not sure either. Let's just go through. Let's just play the Wikipedia game.
Oh, there's some kind of Italian people, so who cares?
Germanic tribe who ruled Italy from 568 to 774.
Yeah, good job, Lombards.
Yeah. So they were trying to make Italy better by making it Germanic.
By not being Italian. Good job, guys.
So I will put a link to his super short Wikipedia page that I read out loud to you.
Just in case, though, you have like a report to do or something. That's
if you want to know about Garibald, King of Lombards, it's a good place to start. Just
only
follow the
place.
sources.
Yeah.
Oh, this isn't on our list of follow-up, but I do want to talk about how I have not put up the first episode yet. Clearly, you would not know this if you're listening to this.
Spoilers.
Second, but the plan is to put it up. So I made us a website on Squarespace, which I'm going to put a link in the description too. It's adultsintrainingpodcast.com. I'm trying to do the RSS feed through Squarespace, which I've never done before. I did it through SoundCloud before, which is really easy because they just do it for you. And then I set up the whole website, and I was working on it on Christmas Day too, I think. And I was like, all right, I'm just going to pay for it, so I can set, because you have to pay for it to set up an RSS feed. And I'm going to set it up, and so part of the problem is we don't have a logo yet. It is in works because Christian actually has a lot of art to do, and some of it actually is stuff he had to do for money because he's doing the truck for.
Yeah.
But I was like, you know what? I'll just do a pre-release release. It's not the iTunes release, but at least it'll be up.
Right.
We can let our friends listen to it and get things moving. I was having such trouble because if the audio is too big, you can't upload it to Squarespace. But what you can do is you can upload it to Dropbox or some other audio hosting website, and then put it on Squarespace through that. And I was like, all right, it's Christmas, I don't feel like doing this.
That's fair.
And then I had a really busy weekend because we're recording 2 days after Christmas.
Oh yeah, Happy Christmas.
Happy Christmas,
Ron.
That's something I do with Christian every year. Every year I text him Happy Christmas.
Happy Christmas, man!
I text him Happy Christmas, Harry, and he texts me back Happy Christmas, Ron.
Nice. You guys are cute. So I will just point out that I think it's funny that we're procrastinating putting up our procrastination proofing podcast.
Well, at least
there's a good excuse this time.
There's a good excuse, and we are still recording on time.
Mm-hmm.
So even though we haven't put it up yet, the recording.
So actually gets us off the hook for a month worth of recordings.
Well, here's the thing. I listen to Hello Internet, which is one of my big reasons I want to start a podcast. They're a really popular podcast, and their first 3 or 4 episodes were all pre-recorded before they put them up. So so all the follow-up they do, there's no responses from people. They're like, you can't respond because this isn't up yet. But so if the podcasting greats did it, I know of a few other podcasts that have put their first 3 episodes up. And
I also like how you're doing air quotes and no one can
no one can see air quotes. Damn it! I wish it was a visual and audio. I guess we could have done that.
Nah.
That's too much work.
Not have to look good for everyone.
Okay, and then so this is a follow-up that I feel like has... Well, I mean, some of this stuff has to do with what we talked about last week, but this actually... So last week we talked about how goals we set can be too hard.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking, what about goals that are too easy? Basically going... There's something about easing into it and baby steps that's fair. But what are baby steps
2 babies?
2 baby... it's well, your baby's just really lazy.
That's when your baby's 52 months old.
He's can't walk still.
Yeah. Well, no, my joke was when people say 52 months old.
Oh yeah, that'd be 4 years old?
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
I can't 4 years and 4 months old. But
part of this came up because I wrote the song I wrote
Yeah.
within like an hour.
Nice.
And I don't think it's because the goal I set was too easy. I don't think the song was necessarily super good, and it's not necessarily going to make it on the album. It's
Right.
definitely a rough draft. But the point wasn't, like, to make a good song. It was to make a song.
It was to just get something out.
But, like, trying to decide whether the goal was too easy, I eventually, like, decided myself, like, no, it wasn't too easy. I just got lucky and had a burst of inspiration, combined with the fact that we were going to record within 2 days.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, gotta get this done. And then, like, just at the right moment, I was, like, inspired. I was like, okay, writing this song. And I did, which was cool. But it made me think about, like, well, what if this had just been because it was too easy? Which I don't think it was, but... And then, am I really progressing
Right.
if it's just, like, a super easy goal? Like,
Yeah. What's the point?
I'll write, like, I feel like a too easy goal for me would be, like, I'll write a verse. Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll write the chorus of a song. Or name a song. Although,
Yeah, I'll name...
Considering how hard it was to name the podcast.
Sure, fair enough. Yeah, I do have a working title for the song right now. I don't know if it's gonna stay. It has alliteration like all of my names.
Like everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, no,
Too
I think
easy
it's
goals.
definitely a problem. I mean, for me, with my goal that I set, I don't know if it was too easy. I just wasn't sure where else to start for a goal, kind of, which is why I picked it. But it ended up being a lot more work than it should have been, because I now know way more about the National Germplasm Repository than any human on Earth has a right to know.
Oh, researching for stories.
Yeah, well, it turned into, I'm going to do this little outline. Let me explain the location where it's set. And the location is Corvallis, Oregon, but they have a huge agricultural school, but they also have, I think it's the National Germplasm Repository, and it's basically a fancy seed bank. I was like on their webpage reading all about them, and I'm like, I don't actually need to know all this.
Yeah.
But
But now you're smarter for it.
Sorry, National Clonal Germplasm Repository. But just so if you guys ever want to know, Department of Agriculture, National Clonal Germplasm Repository, look it up. It's really interesting stuff.
So that's fair enough. Like, so goals you think. that
So
are
yeah,
gonna be
you can
easy.
set an easy goal, and then it can just lead you down a path that you didn't expect or want to go down.
Yeah. It'd be harder than you expect, or not necessarily harder. I don't know, longer, more work than it
Yeah.
entails. I think that's the end of follow up.
Yeah.
Last week's goal. Okay, you have reward punishment duty this week.
Yeah, so my reward and punishment brought a bunch of beer over tonight. So the reward is you can have a beer if you completed your thing, which I did and I've been drinking. The punishment is if you didn't complete your thing, you have to chug that beer.
Oof. I drank last night,
I know.
so I'm not really like hungover, but I am feeling the after effects. So that would be a punishment for me. So I'm glad I succeeded in my goal. We can talk about your goal first, because I feel like I've been talking a lot.
Yeah, you talk all the time.
Yeah.
It's alright.
I'm a talker. Mike's goal was to write a good outline and flesh out characters.
I did that. I talked a little bit about the story setting, whatever, last week, but basically I wrote this outline. I think it's 4-ish pages. I don't know. It's on Google Docs. And it basically breaks down the background of everything that's going on, like what's happening.
Alright.
Where am I?
Okay. Sorry, we had a
Alright.
slight interruption. Someone came home and there was
So-
a door and such.
So I forget where I was saying, but I'll just say things again. So yeah, so I did like 4 or 5 page outline. Basically break down the setting a little bit, what's going on in the world, because it's set how many years after? I think the story is set about 2054, which is also 42 AF, which is like, it stands for after the fall, but it's basically after the whole world goes to crap. But yeah, so I did like a whole like little background on what the world's like. I did a whole section on the main like location for the story, like where it starts and everything, which is Corvallis, Oregon, which is why I got into the National Clonal Germplasm Repository crap. From there, I went into some character descriptions for the 5 main characters and their little mission that they're going to be on for the story. I was actually hesitant to put a full story plot outline because Josh and I hadn't talked about this before, and I wasn't sure if we wanted to like post some of the work we're doing or not. So if that was the case, I didn't want to post up a full plot outline for the book and then have everyone read it, and then what's the point? So I'll probably go ahead and do that later, not as a goal because I can just do it either way. But yeah, I don't know how much in detail we want to go into.
You talked about like getting distracted with like the kind of the research, but were there any other unexpected challenges?
Some of the unexpected challenges were having a lot of this information already created. Like it's already, some of it's already stuff that I've created that we have for like the game that we play, and I actually had to go back and like look stuff up and find certain things because there were certain things I just didn't remember or I wasn't 100% sure about. There was also the idea of like, we've been playing this tabletop game for 2 years now, so that is like my primary, like when I think about this world, that's the primary thing I think about now. So a big part of it was also thinking about what the world was like back during the story I'm writing, because it's almost 20 years prior to our tabletop game. So things would definitely be a lot different then. So I was trying to fight against what I know about our tabletop game now and what was, which was really interesting because it led me to thinking out some really cool stuff, and about how things were probably a little rougher back then because, I mean, things were rough all around, but it was probably a little worse back then. So that was definitely a challenge. It's just kind of getting over your, I don't know, preconceived notions about what you think things are like or should be, and figuring out what is. It sounded way deeper.
Alright. Is there anything else you want to talk about? Or do you want to move on to my...
I guess we move on to yours.
Yeah. I just wasn't sure if there's anything you wanted to add. I couldn't think of any other questions to ask.
I don't know.
Well, were there any unexpected successes?
I actually gave Alan and Rachel and Aaron a last name, which I had never done during our entire tabletop game. These are characters... Well, one of the characters isn't really heavily featured. They're all siblings, and they never had a last name because I just never had a need to give them one. And so I finally did that today. It's Mears. Boom.
So,
your turn.
My goal was to write a song with basic like chord structure and lyrics, which I did. It has a working title that is Memo to the Muses, I think, or Memo.
That sounds right.
It's like Memo from the Muses. Whatever. It's called. I think it's Memo from the Muses because that would make sense content-wise if you read the lyrics, which I don't know if I want to spoil or not, but.
Can you just sing us the chord progression?
Can I sing you the chord progression?
Yeah.
Actually, I probably can't because I'm not good at singing notes.
Okay.
Like, if that makes sense. Like,
Yeah, no, it
I'm
does.
not. If someone's like, sing this in G, I'm like,
I don't know what that means.
play G for me, and then I'll sing it. It's probably one of the things I should practice is getting better at the actual, more technical stuff of music. But
that's like, I can read music pretty well, but I can't play music very well.
So we just need to do like the Dragon Ball Z fusion dance, and it'd be perfect.
Fusion Ha. Any unexpected difficulties? We already discussed that when we discussed Star Wars.
So unexpected difficulties. So yeah, Star Wars kind of got in the way. I also had a problem which I kind of forgot that I had, which is I find it very embarrassing to write music in front of people. And
no, I understand that.
This is I don't have a problem with writing, like just regular writing, because I'm just like on a computer and you don't know what I'm doing.
Right.
And I don't have a problem with playing songs that other people wrote, because I'm just, to me, like, if you're paying attention, it's like kind of like entertaining, but it's like I didn't write this, so it's not me. It's like you're just judging my performance rather than my ability to construct like music.
But yeah, it's very personal.
I actually, because it's the holidays, everyone's home, Sam is around more. It's been really busy because family stuff and things like that.
Yeah.
I never really found a chance to be alone, and I think partially this was an excuse, like, to procrastinate.
Yeah.
But I think at the same time, it's like, I really did have something I couldn't get past, and I was like,
Yeah.
I don't want to write songs in front of people. Because I used to write it in my, like, when I was a teenager, I wrote a lot more songs. I used to write in my basement, and I would stay up really late. And I don't really, like, I stay up late still, but I usually try to go to bed, even if I'm not sleeping.
Yeah.
Like, at a regular time. So I didn't want to, like, stay up late and write, especially because I didn't want to wake up the whole house.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely
My
it.
family, I think, is more heavy sleepers than Sam's family. I don't know, it just was, like, embarrassing. It was a problem. I actually, when I got the inspiration, I was like, I have an idea for a song. Sam was with me, and I was like, Sam, do you mind going upstairs for, like, an hour?
Yeah.
And she actually went upstairs and took a nap while I wrote a song.
Nice. I think that's, like, a problem that a lot of people have with a lot of creative stuff.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people who do art are always very, like, self-deprecating. Like, oh, well, this sucks. Because they can, like, they have a picture in their head and it might not come out exactly how they wanted it to, but everybody else thinks it's fantastic. And I think a lot of artists have that in general.
And it's even harder when it's not finished.
Right. And then you're doing it in front of people, and it's like, yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
I actually used to have that problem a little bit with Trib in general. Tribulation, tabletop game. Writing the book based on it.
Yeah.
Just because it was like, I'm writing all this stuff for the game, is everybody going to think it's stupid?
Yeah.
And then, or like, Kimmy would be around, and I'd be in the middle of it, and she'd be like, what are you doing? And I'd be like, nothing. Don't worry about it. But, like, a big part of it was, like, is this actually any good? Do I know what I'm doing? I think it's a problem that a lot of, like, aspiring artists in every facet of art deal with.
So
Some more than others, maybe.
I feel like that was my biggest struggle. I got lucky with a jolt of inspiration. I think another problem I was having was procrastination.
Yeah.
Because I was just like, I've got another week to do
I
this.
have Star Wars Battlefront to play because I'm still riding that Star Wars train.
I've got Star Wars, The Old Republic to play and check out. I've got Star Wars Aftermath to read. Oh, I've got Fallout 4 to take a break from Star Wars.
Oh wait, I'm gonna go see Star Wars again. Hold on.
But also just the, like, procrastination in general, like writing music is fun, but it's still hard work. I can wait. Like, just like back writing papers in college. But I definitely think that having, like, a deadline helped, because I was like, oh crap, the
I don't wanna get
deadline's coming.
punished.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially because I knew you were doing the punishment. I was
So
like,
you don't know what it is, you have no control over it.
Yeah.
So
But
yeah, any unexpected successes or surprises, like positive surprises?
I think that how quickly I was able to write it.
Yeah.
Because there was actually like a couple sessions where I tried, like there was like probably 2 or 3 writing sessions in general, and I think during the first 2 I got a couple chord progressions. Like, you don't really write chord progressions, you just reuse them.
Right.
But like I kind of had decided on a couple, like I'll use one of these for the first song I wrote, which was progress, but it was really small progress. But then I kept, like, the Star Wars thing kept happening, and I actually was like, alright, maybe I should just run with this. And I tried to write 2 Star Wars songs, but they both felt really hokey to me, and I was like, I can't do this. I have to, like, I just couldn't deal with it. And then, like, finally, on Christmas, I just had a flash of inspiration, and I was like, I just blitzed through it. If this isn't fantastic, I can go back and change lyrics later.
Yeah.
I can go back, speed it up, slow it down, change the tempo, whatever. I just want to remember this tune and remember this basic idea, have the lyrical structure, and I, like, got through it within an hour. I even recorded, like, a little demo on my phone so I don't forget the tune.
Right.
And I was just like, wow, that was a really productive hour.
Yeah. A lot of times I feel like getting something on paper or computer, whatever, is super helpful, especially when it comes to writing. Like whether it's writing songs or a book or a story, or I don't know, what else do you write? A newspaper article, if people still write those.
I guess they do on the internet.
Yeah, but that's not a newspaper anymore.
Just like a news article.
Yeah.
Clickbait.
Right, clickbait.
Listicles.
But yeah, like, I think just getting it out is really helpful sometimes, and it's not perfect the first time, then you tweak it and make it what you want it to be.
Yeah, that's definitely something I've learned, and I've also heard from tons of creative writing teachers. They're like, I think the greatest advice I was given, well, it's not really advice, it's more of like knowledge, was that there's no such thing as writer's block.
Yeah.
Because you may be stuck on a story, but you can always write something.
Right.
And even if you throw it all away, it's better to keep yourself practiced and keep your mind engaged, because your mind actually, the more you do it, like with there is no, like, writing is a talent that you can, it's a skill.
Right.
Like, you can practice it. Even if you aren't good at the beginning, you can get better at it.
Get good.
Yeah, get good by practicing and stuff. And even if you're having like a writer's block, which it's fair enough that you can be stuck in a story. Well, stop writing that story, write something else, or keep writing if you think even if you think it's dumb.
Right.
Or if it's like boring exposition that you know you're going to cut out, at least you're keeping your mind practicing that skill, so that when you do have a good session, you're as good as you can possibly be. Which is why I still tried to write those Star Wars songs, even though I was like, these aren't going to pan out.
Did you throw them away, or do you still have them?
I still have them. One, I was thinking I was going to...
Use as a punishment one week?
No, I was going to do... One was just about being excited for Star Wars, actually. Yeah. It was like more about like loving Star Wars than actual Star Wars itself. The other one, I was like, it'd be cool taking the Jedi code and putting it to music, but it did not work out at all.
Yeah.
I think that was just like it was just not... It was a cool idea in my head, and I think if you could execute it, it'd be really neat, but I don't think I am at the skill level to execute it right now. I'm like, maybe if I get better,
maybe someday
I could execute it. Also, I don't think they lend themselves easily to the kind of music I play.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I was like, if I could make a monastic, like, chant chorus,
or like,
I could definitely do
some
this,
opera.
But I don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
Maybe like do like
hire a few Gregorian monks.
A minor chord progression chord. I have a topic for today. I don't know if you wanted to talk about it because we've been going for a while.
Whatever, we can talk about it.
We're going almost an hour.
Yeah.
Alright, so my topic was getting started on projects, because I feel like that's pretty pretty topical.
Yeah.
It's a pretty topical topic.
I think the best way to do it is to watch the Shia LaBeouf inspirational video on YouTube and just do it.
That's pretty fair. I think just doing it is true, but it's also very unhelpful advice.
Yeah.
I think like watching that video could definitely motivate you and put you in a better mood for it. But like, I think that's like a lot of people who are like creative and stuff will be like, well, you just have to do it. Like and like I hear that advice a lot, but I think here's some actual advice that you can actually do. Remove obstacles. I feel like, so for me, I couldn't write it in front of, and I would use those obstacles as an excuse to not do it.
So you're saying Sam is an obstacle?
Sam is not. Well, technically, yeah, she is to my writing my music, but that is not what she only is. She's not only.
She is only an obstacle.
She's also
I'd like to
an
take credit for being the number one muse.
I was about to say you're also an inspiration to many of my songs. I feel like I've written at least like 4 love songs for you. Although,
how many have you written for Star Wars, though?
I've a half one.
Oh, we gotta catch up because
Star Wars is pretty great.
yeah.
But like putting yourself in an environment you're gonna be, you're
right.
So I knew that being around people would make it harder, and then I kept trying to do it when people weren't around, and it's like at that moment I kind of realized like, wow, I could really write this song right now, and I was like, Sam, I'm not trying to be mean, like,
yeah.
And I think also that's being like honest with people who like are somehow involved, like, or like you need their help, whether it's actually them getting out of your way technically,
right,
or like getting them to actually help you, like those are like obstacles in a sense. So just if you don't like drawing in front of your mom, ask your mom if she can't sit in the kitchen tonight, because you
ask your mom to get out of there.
Also putting yourself in like areas that are better for it. Almost.
Right. I mean, like there's a lot. If you surround yourself with distractions, you're probably gonna get distracted.
Yeah, like turning off your phone and
not sitting next to the TV that your PlayStation is hooked up to.
Yep. it's where we are right now, and that's where I kept trying to write songs.
That's where I always am.
I did eventually write it here, but I definitely think that it stopped me a bunch of times.
Yeah.
Yeah, so removing obstacles is my big advice. I don't know. I guess also, like, if there's, like, what's the opposite of an obstacle? A catalyst?
Sure.
Well, I think it works for the metaphor.
Okay.
Using catalysts, things that you know will help you.
Yeah.
Like, if you know that doing a writing prompt will get you in a writing mood, even if it has nothing to do with your story.
Yeah.
Like, do a writing prompt. Or if you know that drinking a cup of coffee will, like, energize you, or... I don't know.
I'm
like,
just thinking of you drinking a few cups of coffee and then trying to write a song.
I might be able to write that ukulele punk rock song.
Or you just break all the strings on the ukulele in like one strum.
Phase your hand through.
If like taking a nap before, maybe you're tired but you still need to get stuff done. I don't know.
I actually think something. It sounds weird, but I think to do these kind of things, a lot of times you need to be a little bit selfish, like while you're doing it.
Yeah.
Just because it's such an intensely personal thing a lot of the times when you're creating something. It's very easy to feel like you're being self-centered or selfish or whatever. So, like, you might get somebody being like, hey, let's hang out. And you have to be like, no, I'm spending time alone to write. So it's like, I guess selfish isn't exactly the right word, but...
I totally agree with your point, though.
Yeah, you have to kind of look at yourself a little bit to do these things because they're very personal things usually.
I actually watched like an interview with John Green, who, for those of you who don't know, wrote *Fault in Our Stars* and like *Looking for Alaska*, a bunch of young adult novels. But he actually said like when he wrote his first published book, he remembers skipping tons of parties and things like that because he realized if he wanted to stop working at Shake Shack and get a published novel, he actually needed to write the novel and like you have to like be kind
you
of
have to find time to do it.
Yeah.
And nobody's gonna help you make time for it because it's your thing.
Yeah. So yeah, and that actually is a problem I ran into, and I'm not gonna name names because I don't want them to think I was. Well, they're gonna know who it is, but still, like I was gonna hang out with someone to have like a creative night where we each do our thing.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about too.
And then 3 other people came and we played board games instead, which was really fun and I had a great time, but it also like didn't work.
Yeah, but if you had said, hey, let's not do that and let's just focus on this, then you might have got something done.
And I don't think it was like either of our, it was kind of both our faults.
Yeah,
because I feel like I could have said like, hey, no. Like,
right, you could have said this is really important to me.
Yeah. And to be fair, I still got the stuff done. And also, we plan on rescheduling. So, it'll work out.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal if you're listening. I'm not...
If you're not listening, then you suck.
Yeah, why aren't you listening?
Yeah.
You're my friend.
Not anymore. You wouldn't know that because you didn't listen.
Okay, so... Alright, so obviously we don't have questions. Was there anything else you want to talk about on this topic before we move on?
I don't think so.
I feel like we got it pretty good. Oh, actually, I do want to add one thing. Pick one project.
Yeah.
Because I think a big problem of mine is having like a million ideas I want to do at once, and I'll be like, I'll do a little bit of this, do a little bit of that, and so like right now I'm doing the podcast and the music because the podcast is for the it's a support for the other. It's a catalyst.
That was good. That's gotta stay. Can't cut that.
Like it's support, so it doesn't really. I don't think it really counts. It's supplementary.
Right.
But like I'm trying to, like not start a book right now. Not like do anything.
Yeah.
Like I'm focusing on one project. And I think there are people who can do multiple projects.
I think it's tough though.
It's tough though, and I think you have to be very practiced. Like you've been doing this for a while.
Like if you're doing it professionally, if you're Stephen King, sure you can write 3 different books at a time. If you're an amateur author who's never written a full book in your life, whether you're published or not,
that's true.
It's probably not a good idea to work on like 12 different stories.
Yeah.
I feel like Tribulations the game has helped me stay focused with Tribulations the book.
Yeah. So it's like also a supplementary thing, which is cool. I feel like maybe if I if I started writing poetry again,
Yeah.
it would also be supplementary because I could move the lyrics like but
Yeah.
the problem is I don't write a lot of poetry that rhymes, and I'm a fan of songs that rhyme because
Right.
they're easier to catch. They're catchy and
Yeah.
and
Well, they're-
easier to sing and
yeah.
remember, which is why they rhyme. So it may be kind of problematic. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe that's a challenge, though. Write a whole album of non-rhyming songs.
I don't know if I want to do that.
I just wanted to put another album out there. So maybe a song that doesn't rhyme.
The Jedi Code doesn't rhyme.
That's true. There you go. Get back to it.
So I have the question section, which last week we talked about. We didn't have any questions, although Kimmy and Sam voiced a few.
Okay. Yeah, I don't remember. That was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
Or
and
anything.
because obviously we haven't had it up to put any questions.
Yeah.
But I actually did a little listen with Dan, Christian, and Tim when we were smashing one night. I was like, hey.
Playing Smash Brothers.
Yeah, playing Super Smash Brothers. I didn't think about that. And Christian is the only one who gave me any useful things.
Thanks, Dan and Tim.
So, I think he only asked me one thing was, how do we keep track of and don't forget all our ideas?
Carefully.
So,
Actually, the real answer would be I don't. So,
I have three answers. I recently bought a little notebook that fits in my back pocket. So this is a new thing that I've been trying out. And basically it's like, if I have something that I feel like is a really good idea, and I should write it down in the notebook. That way, like, I don't forget it. And even if I can go back to it and be like, oh, this is dumb.
yeah.
At least it's there.
At least
like,
you remember the dumb
yeah.
idea.
Like, oh, I shouldn't do this. But if it's good and I didn't write down and I forget it, then it's like, oh, I had that really good idea, but I can't remember what it is. And
Yeah.
that's just so frustrating. Another thing I do is I message myself on Facebook. So it's like, if maybe I don't have the notebook on me,
Or you're really lonely.
I'll...
It's actually not a bad idea.
And sometimes it's also, if I have a link that I want to remember,
Yeah.
and it's like, I don't want to write down https / like,
Yeah.
or even like, I don't even necessarily want to write down www.whateverthisis.com / whatever you need to go to. I think, so like for sending yourself links, and even if it's like things like, you found a cool blog on world building,
Right.
like, and you can send that to yourself, like, I want to check this out later, like, I'm sure there's like apps for this too. Like I think there's like a thing that saves article called Pages or something like that.
Yeah.
But I don't have that, so I just message it to myself. Also, Google Word Docs. A lot of times when I start, like, if I have some lyric ideas, I'll just start a new Word doc, like put a tentative name for the song, even if it like is like song 3. Like,
Yeah.
and just put the lyrics down. Or even for story ideas, like I'll put like outlines and stuff. So that's kind of like a notebook, but online.
Right.
And so I have to mention, I even put in the follow-up, I think Christian asked this because we have a running joke that I am his secretary. So he'll be like, Josh, secretary mode, and then he'll tell me something to remember, like,
Yeah.
I need to get more Prisma markers, or I have this cool idea for like this art series I would do, and I never do anything about it. I never write it down or anything. And it'll be like, Josh, what was that thing I wanted to do? I was like, I don't know.
What do I have at 12 o'clock today? I don't know. You don't pay me enough for that. Yeah, I should do those things. I've actually tried the notebook thing before, and then I kept forgetting to take the notebook places.
Yeah, so I just started putting it in my pocket. I
Yeah.
haven't always used it. I
Yeah.
like forget to use it, but like it's in my
It's
pocket.
there,
It's
yeah.
become like a thing I always remember to put in my pocket
Right.
at least.
So that's actually something I've always wanted to do. Well, I don't know if I've always wanted to do it, but
Since I was a little baby.
since I was born, I've always
I need a
wanted
notebook.
I've always wanted a notebook, even though I didn't have back pockets or the ability to write. But yeah, I usually have a really good memory for that stuff. But there have definitely been times when it just like completely goes out the window and I'm just completely screwed. And it's really frustrating because sometimes I'll be like, I know I had a really cool idea for this, and then I'm like, but I don't remember what it is. The other ways I try to remember stuff is if I see something that I think is really interesting, whether like you said, like an article or something. A lot of times I'll send it to somebody else. Like I'll send it to you or Sam, because oftentimes there are things that I feel like you'll think are interesting too.
Yeah.
And then I can always. Then if I send it to you, it gives me incentive to actually read it, so I can talk to you about it later. And
you don't feel all lonely for sending something to yourself.
For sending something to myself. I was gonna say a third thing, but I forget. I'm not even
should have written it down.
In that notebook.
Also,
I tell Kimmy.
Oh, okay.
That's the other one. I'll be like, hey, I want to do this, and then.
Well, that's like secretary for Josh.
So,
Yeah, Josh is remembering.
although Kimmy's really good at keeping my schedule, at least, so that's something.
Yeah, but doesn't she use a calendar?
I don't know. She's my secretary. It's not
Okay.
my job to know how she does it.
Kimmy is nodding. So it's like, it's just proof that you need to write it down. Just because you're getting someone else to do it. It's
still proof that I don't need to write it down.
Someone needs to write it down.
Needs to write it down. So maybe I should just
give Kimmy a notebook.
Yeah. I'll just dictate all my ideas to her.
There are plenty of like professional authors and stuff who have secretaries who do that kind of stuff.
It's true. Or you could be some professional authors and just have your secretary write books for you. I'm not going to mention any names, but his initials are DK. I don't know if that's actually true, but dude pumps out like...
Can you rhyme his name?
Bean Spoons.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Okay.
I hope somebody does. I don't know if he actually does that. But his old work was pretty good, and I feel like now he just pumps out like 30 books a year.
Yeah, that seems unlikely.
Yeah, it seems very unlikely that you're doing all that yourself. I don't know.
I mean, Tom Clancy has tons of good
Oh yeah, he's like James Patterson is the king of ghostwriters.
Because he tricks everybody into thinking he doesn't.
Yeah, well, James Patterson's new move is to co-author books with unknown authors. I did the air quotes that nobody could see. But it's like, hey, write this book and I'll put my name on it as a co-author and you pay me a few bucks and you get popular because my name's on the... He's another one of those writers who I think probably used to be a lot better than he currently is.
Yeah. He's like, how can I not do work and keep making money?
I mean, don't get me wrong, that's the American dream. I hope to someday not work and make money and exploit young talent to get my money for me. But until that day, if you're listening, James Patterson, I'd love to co-author a book with you.
Alright, so I think we've gotten through everything. And now we have to make our new goals for next week.
Dun, dun.
Okay.
Who goes first?
You go first, I go first.
Star Wars joke.
Yeah, go see it.
If you don't, then...
That's your goal. Take a break from your project and see Star Wars. We did.
If you don't, then you have to eat a chocolate chip cookie covered in ketchup and chug a beer.
If they haven't done it yet, by the time this comes out...
Oh, yeah.
That's true.
There's no excuse.
Yeah.
I just realized how untopical this will be since we still haven't posted our first
Whatever,
one.
who cares?
Whatever. Star Wars is still really good and it'll still be in theaters a month from now because it's the highest grossing movie of all time.
And plus they're doing that thing where you get a movie poster every Sunday.
It's true.
To like draw people in more.
We should go on a Sunday to get a poster.
Yeah, I forgot about it. And then someone mentioned it when I'd already left the theater. I was like, God damn it.
You could have got me one.
Yeah.
Because you and Sam don't both need a poster. Okay, so my goal, I don't know. I guess I'll write a chapter.
How long is a chapter? I don't know.
I don't know.
Okay.
As long as it takes.
Okay. Well, I'm asking because Stephen King has like 1-page chapters and stuff.
But he also has like 100-page chapters.
I know.
So,
I was just trying to like.
I don't know.
Play devil's advocate.
I will write. I don't know. I don't like to put a page limit on creativity.
I'm not trying to put a page limit on it.
Who are you, the man? Don't put me in a box. 8-word chapter.
8-word chapter.
You heard it here first.
That's fine.
That's not an acceptable goal.
That's fine if you do another chapter.
Okay. I don't know. We're probably looking at like at least 5 pages, I think.
Okay. Why don't you just do a page count goal?
I don't understand how that works. I just write. I don't count.
Well, I'm just saying, like,
Don't
you
put me in a-
make it to this page count. No, if that's 5 pages and it's 5 chapters, great. Good for those chapters.
Alright, let's call it a thank you page.
The acknowledgements.
Acknowledgements. We'll call it a foreword and a first chapter that is at least 5 pages.
Okay,
Okay.
fair enough.
Forward's probably only like half a page or so.
Okay.
But maybe a page. I don't know. We'll see. Gotta think about it. Maybe I'll even post the foreword on the website. And by I mean you, because you have been... Well, I guess I have the password and stuff for the website, too.
Yeah, I gave you the password.
Yeah.
It's a good password, too.
Yeah.
We can't. We shouldn't say it, obviously.
We shouldn't, actually. I was about to. And I was like, wait a minute. You almost got us, listeners. Almost. But yeah, we'll call it at least 5 pages for the first chapter.
Okay.
Up to 10.
So you'll stop at 10? I thought you weren't gonna put a.
I don't want to write more than 10 pages. I have to see Star Wars again. I have to play Star Wars games.
Fair enough.
You have to write for Trib.
I have to write for... Well, I am writing
So-
for Tribs. Yeah.
So feel free to call
Trip
me out on
the
this goal, but I kind of just want to write another song. But I feel like that's kind of what you have to do for albums.
Yeah.
But I was thinking about being more specific, and I wrote the last song on guitar, and
Barbershop Quartet a cappella.
oh my god, no.
You do the whole album that way. That's another album idea. That's 5, I think. God, you're gonna be a musical superstar.
So maybe I should write the next one on uke, so there's some variety in the album. Although it's totally possible that a song that starts out on guitar ends up on uke,
Yeah.
and vice versa.
Hmm.
I just feel like
Clarinet.
I can't play clarinet, so that would be interesting. It would sound like.
One.
You play clarinet?
Played saxophone. They're pretty much the same instrument. They actually are. That's. I mean, they're not exactly the same, but there's.
Did you
lots
play
of them.
alto or bass?
Alto. If anyone's listening and you have a saxophone and you want to donate it to our cause, I will contribute to Josh's album with it after relearning how to play, because it's been like years and years.
At least you know how to read music.
That's true. It's been a while, but. I
All
can do
right,
it.
so I think I'm gonna go for another song right on you. I also really want to. So I don't know. I have a feeling I'm not just being a self-deprecating artist about this, but I don't feel like the first song I wrote was good.
Okay.
Like I think it's okay.
Yeah, I've read it. I can't say whether it's good or not because I feel like it's hard to tell without hearing it.
Yeah, that's
But I know
true.
you have an idea for how it should sound in your head.
I also think some of like the lyrics are cheesy and stuff, which is fun. Like that's not necessarily a totally bad thing, but
Yeah, I'd look at Fallout Boy.
I actually some of their lyrics are really good.
And some of them are really cheesy.
That's true. But then still they had the balance.
Yeah. So write some good lyrics, write some cheesy lyrics, mix them together. Cheese makes everything better, they say.
I think it's I'm so out of practice, honestly.
Yeah.
So I think writing another song would force me just to beat practice
Right.
and keep
No, that makes sense.
moving on.
Keep on keeping on.
Yeah, keep on.
No, that makes perfect sense.
Okay. So we have our goals.
We have our goals.
That's it.
That's it. If you have any questions that you'd like to do the thing in blah 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 comments,
Oh, okay. Yeah. So
we really need some because
I'm gonna put links to
all the stuff we said.
everything like Reddit, Tumblr,
Garibald.
Facebook, Twitter, all in the description, and to our website, which also has links to those things. So I'll just like double it, be redundant, and I'll open up the questions on Tumblr so we can get some from there. That'll work.
Sweet.
And also you could use the hashtag. I decided AskAIT hashtag to ask us questions.
What is that on the Twitter?
Oh, that's on Twitter. Yeah,
The Twitter.
the Twitter.
I'm too old for this shit.
All right. So that's it. Bye.
Bye.
I'll probably cut out that bye because it's.
Meh.
Bye.
Beep.